Corporate greed has some serious consequences for human lives. We talk about that theme quite a bit on this show, and the canceled flights during the Christmas holiday weekend is no exception. Because of the fact that thousands of flights were canceled over the weekend, one man, Patrick Holland, who was scheduled to travel to get a heart transplant, was unable to do so. We should hear from him as he discusses what happened after Alaska Airlines kept canceling his flight from Alaska to Seattle. Let's watch.
We got to the airport and it was packed, which is unusual. It was packed because flights were being canceled, and I didn't realize that until I went to the kiosk and my flight was canceled. And after waiting in line for an hour, panicking, realizing my flight was leaving in a half an hour, I waved down a woman that worked for Alaska Airlines, and I told her the situation. Said, "Hey, I'm on a heart transplant. This is crucial." And she waved me to the front of the line, and she said, "Yeah, your flight has been canceled." And then my heart sank, and she said, "I will get you on a plane," and she did. She got me on a plane, and from there, we were diverted about halfway through. I didn't know that because they had announced it, but I guess during my excitement of getting a heart was overwhelming. So, but we were in flight for about 4 hours, and I heard the pilot say that, "Hey, welcome to Anchorage," and I thought he must be really tired because we've been in the air for about 4 hours, and it doesn't take 4 hours to get to Anchorage. And a lady overheard me tell my brother that, and she looked over. She said, "My phone says Anchorage," and then I started to panic, and then my phone said Anchorage.
Now, Patrick went on to explain that though Alaska Airlines and its staff were incredibly kind to him and did whatever they could, unfortunately the flights to Seattle kept getting canceled. And I want to be fair because there were a lot of cancellations from airlines like Southwest, for instance, because of the fact that they failed to invest in their operations and they canceled all sorts of flights that didn't need to be canceled. In this case, it appears that the storm had more to do with the cancellations. But it's so tragic, Cenk, because in the end, Patrick was informed by doctors that they had no choice. The heart would be transplanted to another patient. With organs, obviously time is of the essence, and they don't want the organ to go to waste, so they have to use it immediately. And in this case, that's what happened. And it's heartbreaking as someone who knows what it's like to have a close family member need a transplant. You're not calm until the operation finally happens, right? You're kind of in disbelief. It takes so much to get the transplant, to find a donor, and my heart really goes out to him because I can't imagine how difficult this is.
Yeah, it's a heartbreaking story, as sad as it gets, right? And he's such a wonderful guy. He said later, like, "Well, look, at least it went to someone else, and I prayed for them, and I feel great for them, but it's heartbreaking for him." And so here again, to be fair, this one was more about weather, and so that's just a story as old as time and harder to avoid. But it is happening in the midst of many other cancellations that are not about the weather. I don't know if the other cancellations affected this. When it's about weather, usually not. But I tell you, man, everybody's so different. That's one of the things I got from the story. Because if I or someone in my family needed a heart transplant in that situation,
I'd be in prison.
I'd have like, I'd be checking every flight. I'd be checking every seat. I'd be asking every passenger, "Can we go ahead of you?" I'm keeping it real. And if you think that's rude, yeah, okay, I'll be more polite after my dad or my brother gets the heart.
But
right?
But that's the other thing, Cenk. Obviously, if you're experiencing what this man experienced, I mean, he seems like he handled it the best he could. He was calm. Not everyone's calm. Some people panic, some people freak out. And the thing is, you're not allowed to even raise your voice at an airport. That's how insane and how there's so much tension at an airport. All the employees there, all the staff there, they're on edge. And it feels like they can't wait to call security and get you the hell out of there. if you express any discontent, I don't know, it's like you're not allowed to be a human as you're put in a situation where you're clearly being screwed over. And that happens a lot at airports because there are a lot of cancellations that don't need to happen. There's all sorts of annoying practices that these airlines get away with, including overbooking flights and basically giving you the middle finger if you don't show up before everyone else does. Well, we overbooked it, sorry, you're done. It happens all the time.
Yeah, last thing I'll say on that is that it doesn't have to be this way. We've all just gotten used to the airlines abusing us. This is an industry, I've told you many times, it literally has something called a misery index, where they try to make you more miserable so you'll pay more to get out of your misery. I've never had any of these moments at a train station. Back when I lived on the East Coast, I used to take the train all the time. Never one issue, not once, right? On the planes and at the airports, dozens of times.
Right.
Because once you let people abuse you, they will over and over and over and over again. This might not be the best example of it because it was a weather situation, but you're seeing was the Southwest cancellations and the stories we just did about how now they're threatening to arrest anyone who complains at airports. It's brutal and it shouldn't be this way. The government's supposed to look out for you as these corporations crush you.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.